Alright, so this video is going to be on creating a linear model for your data using Excel to fit a trend line, or some people might call it a line of best fit. I think Excel calls it a trend line. A trend line is some line that best approximates all your data. We'll learn about the mathematics of how it calculates that in year 11 and 12, but for now, it's a good idea to think about it as a line that approximates as best as possible all of the data points you've plotted. Now what that means is that we're going to have an equation for that line, and we can use that equation to make predictions or calculate things about this team as a whole. This is called modeling, mathematical modeling. And what we're doing is reducing because the world's quite complex, and if we can find an equation that really well approximates the complex world, we can do things like find exact answers, make predictions, and do relatively simple mathematics on what are quite complex issues. In your example, if you can find an equation between the amount of sunlight and the amount of power coming out of the solar panels, that's going to allow you to make a lot of predictions about where you should put the solar panels, how much power is going to come out, what kind of output you're going to get in different conditions using your mathematical model. How do we find a mathematical model? All right, here we go. Excel's going to do most of the heavy lifting. What we're looking for is a formula that best describes the relationship between weight and BMI. Now, in Mac, it'll be design, add chart element. In Windows, it's just this little green arrow. And what we want to add is a trend line. And unless me or Miss Firma or Mr. Lou says otherwise, select the linear trend line. It's the default anyway. So what this has done is created a line that best fits all of these different dots. All of these different dots. So we can use the language we've learnt previously. This looks like a linear, sort of medium correlation. But what this line does is gives us the best approximation to a single line from all of these dots. What I need is Excel to tell me what the equation of this line is. So I double click on the line, go to the trend line options. Good, linear is selected. These are all the different kinds of lines, but we're only learning about linear. I want to display equation on chart, and for now we'll put the R-squared value in as well, and I'll tell you what that is in a second. So, once we've got that, the other thing that I'll suggest doing is back on the trend line, go to forecast and change this forecast a little bit. What it does is it extends the line a little bit outside of your data. It's very interesting. So, now Excel has created for us this equation. It's telling us that the linear equation, y equals 0.0629x plus 19.212, is a good model for the relationship between weight and BMI of North Melbourne Football Club players. So that means we could use this equation to calculate the expected BMI of a player who was some weight. For example, if we had a player who was 60 kilograms, we would put 60 in the place of X, and it would calculate a value of what looks like about 23. Or you can just use the graph, it's like 23 point something. So we can model outside of the data we collected the relationship between these variables. The last thing is this R-squared value. That's a measure of how well does the line fit the data. So if this number was 1, is a perfect fit. 1, perfect fit. 0, no fit. So 0.29 is actually a pretty poor fit. This is a weak linear positive correlation. It's positive because it goes from down to up. It's linear because, look, it looks kind of linear. Maybe it's something else, but we're going to say approximate it as linear. And it's weak because r squared's below 0.3. And also you can see it's weak. All these dots are all over the place. So it's not a very strong relationship. But it's still interesting. Thanks guys. Good luck with yours. What you'll be looking to do is create a scatter plot like this with your data and to create a linear model of the relationship between the two variables you're investigating. Maybe it's wind turbine, like blade length and power output, time of day, power output, shade, power output. Play around with this. The example I did is just one. There's so many options. Just play around with it and ask for help, and good luck. I look forward to reading your reports a lot. See ya.